Hello, everybody. Welcome. Rosa's like investigator. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Rosa's like investigator. So, guys, okay, it's so fun because I was trying to go live, and it was sometimes, from time to time, well, actually, pretty rarely it happens that the little wheel, doesn't let me. Okay, so So anyway, so I was like, oh, do they really want the conversations? Do they want conversations? Are you sure? Because I was like, oh my god, maybe they're like, it's not that I'm getting cold feet, guys, but it's just, I was like, oh, it's a message, huh? It's a message. So I have a notebook here, because I was like, I feel like Boris was telling me, Get the notebook out, have documents, have informations." So I don't know if it's true. Guys, it's so crazy, this adventure. And I just wanted to explain a little bit, okay, about how it's going to happen. Well, who knows? We don't know what's going to happen, okay? And I know some of you, I think it was Christine, had mentioned somebody like specific, but I almost feel like the last time I spoke to Boris, that we were doing this, okay, um, I felt like there was somebody in the background that I don't know who there was and I don't recognize, and I had to cut it short because we had to go to other things. So I have no idea who this person is, and so maybe that's why I said, I almost don't want to have a question, okay, unless they bring something up, or okay, so that because I thought it was so interesting when Boris last time he brought up, there was so amazing. I learned so much, the stuff about Siberia and the cooks and all those things. So it's just that I just want to know what they have to say, because, and I forgot, I think it might have been Karen on the on YouTube, if I'm correct. Okay, somebody, I think it was her, who left him a comment I thought was so brilliant. She said something like, how ironic that those people who were killed, likely because they wanted to be silent, had to be silenced, or they were killed because they had to be silenced. Now they want to talk. That makes not. Then I was like, oh, that's right. It makes a lot of sense. If it's like, there's like the people who died, but we forgot why they died. Not why they just fell from building, huh? Fell from building. So guys, just so you don't know, if you don't know, I published this what is it called? Like a I think it was there. I published this schedule. Okay, so I said on the schedule that today is just like whoever the spirits want to come. Today is the day of the. It's called the Dead Russian Society. The was the RS, the Dead Russian Society, the RS, Dead Russian Society. No, really, guys. So that's it. I feel like that's it. So I kind of want to leave it open for them, because, guys, if you haven't watched the part, I love, really, that thing with Boris was amazing. It really was amazing. It could be anybody. The person I saw, I did not think the next person who wanted to talk to was not an oligarch. I think he was somebody who had worked in intelligence. He was not a rich guy. Okay. So that's why I also don't want to limit to the oligarchs, because there aren't that many oligarchs, to be honest, guys. Okay. I mean, compared to it could be anybody. Could be anybody. Okay. We don't know. I don't know. We don't know. Right. And the other thing that I kind of don't want to do is, like, I don't want necessarily to ask a question, because then I'm going to also limit whoever wants to talk. You know what I mean? Somebody who may have an answer about something. So I want to see if, because since Boris was like, you should have call with conversations. Yeah. So we'll see here. Okay. So I'm going to, this is the plan. Okay. Exactly. So who we don't know. We don't know who these people are. It's today's is one of those things, guys, that I was like, it's totally experimental, okay? And it's not really necessarily like I am, usually I'm always like investigations. I need to, I get to the bottom of things or whatever. It's more like they have a stage. They have me. Remember, he was like, Rose, you're my throat. You're my throat. I speak through you, you know? So we'll see. Whoever wants to talk, have something to say that is relevant to us, you know, and they could, guys, and someone, I forgot who one of you asked this kind of interesting question. The person asked, I forgot, it was a while back, I think it was Cheryl. She asked this question: when a person speaks another language, how do you communicate with them? Is it telepathy? And the answer is, when you have conversations with, like, whatever spirits, it's never like you read their, they're like, sometimes they talk like they spell it out, but most of the time it's like you look at them and it is some sort of telepathy. Okay, you kind of like talk and they're there to tell you some things, but it's not as if like the same, it doesn't happen Can you do the notes while you're communicating with them? What do you mean do the notes? Yeah, here I have here because who knows they want the map or whatever it is they want. I don't know. I have here. I don't know. I just I don't usually have notebooks for anything. Okay, just because whenever why not have conversations. So I'm here drinking vodka, no water. So they're like, do you think every Russian person drink vodka? No, that's not true. No, we're not stereotype. We're not stereotype. No. Okay, so I'm gonna get started, guys. Okay. So what I'm probably gonna do, okay. I don't know, guys. I think I'm actually a little bit nervous, okay. And so I'm probably not gonna look at the comments, okay. Just so I'm gonna close here. I'm probably gonna look at comments later after I've already started talking with them because I'm like a little nervous. So I'm gonna do protections. And then I'm gonna get started with theater. Theater from the other. Theater from the other side. Theater from the other. Theater from the other side. Okay, so let's go here. Okay, so I like to ask for protection. Beautiful real light coming to my head. As I breathe in and I feel my lungs with light. I breathe out. Project light outward. Project light outward. Create a circle of light. Create a circle of light. Step into it. Step into it. Feel connection, protection. I invite everybody in the group. Everybody on the other side also connected, protected. Everybody together. And um, and I ask the information come only from the highest sources, the highest developed spirits, and create the good and only the good. Okay, so that we can help here. And then the role today is thanks to many of you who suggested the Drashal Society. But it's really about those people who were connected. Boris Borzosk, and said that he wanted he had the suggestion to make it a talk show that people call to speak to Rayon, but I thought not just Rayon, I know he liked to have it make it about Rayon, but whoever wants to have conversations has something to say, and as long as, like I said, information is clear, relatable, and it's connected to the reality that we understand, then here we are. So I'm going to make myself available for good spirits to speak to me. Okay, really. So I'm a little nervous. But they like holding. I'm like this. Oh, they like holding my hands. It's okay, Rose. It's okay, Rose. Okay, so and guys, this was so spontaneous, right? Because I trust them. They like, yeah, it's okay. It's okay. So let's get started. Who knows? And guys, I don't know. This could be short. This could be long. I don't think it's gonna be more than an hour. Who knows? Okay, but it's an experiment. It's an experiment. Okay. All right, Rose. First of all, okay. So guys, I'm nervous. My heart's beating fast. I feel it. I feel it. Oh, my heart is beating fast, huh? Huh? So okay. So just here. It's like, oh my god, I'm nervous. Okay. See here, the heart beats. Measuring heart beats. Not the high. Okay, don't. So it's okay. Not having heart attack. No. So okay, so I'd like to. I'm not reading the comments because So I'm gonna be dancing. Just relax, relax. Oh, okay. So I'm not relaxed here. Okay, so guys, okay, so there are spirits who would like to share informations. Like I said, make your point clear. Tell us as your story. Say whatever you want to say. We don't really have specific questions because I felt like there's a lot of people who wanted to talk. So I'm going to make the microphone here, my throat, available for conversations. So whatever you want to say, I'm going to let it. And they're like, relax, Rose, relax. Don't worry about it. We won't hurt you or anything like that. We're very thankful. Okay, yeah. So first I hear Coronel. So I see, guys. The first I see this guy. He's wearing some sort of military uniform down there, and he's bowing down, like he's like bending one knee backwards, like he's bowing down. He's like, thank you for giving opportunity. Okay, so yeah, as Russian army, Russian military. He's colonel, something like colonel, like a kind of a somewhat high-ranking person. Okay, I was 35, 35. Okay, so now I'm going to let myself speak through me. Tell us whatever it is. First of all, I am so sorry what is happening. I am sorry that the countries have problems like this. I am so sorry that I caused some of it. I may have caused it. I'm so sorry that I now that I can see the trouble of two countries, it's not a good thing. I can see everybody in pain, all the lies. They all, in some ways, both countries different type of lies. And one, we had the bad people in Russia help the bad people in America, and we create a sadness for people. We create a worse. It could be friends, but those people they want a lot of money. They want a lot of things. So I have to say that I did all the things that I did because I wanted to help my country. I saw the value. I was very serious. I studied hard. I worked very hard every day because I knew I believe in the values they were telling us. I believe that it was about the truth and it was about there was a sense of competitive advantage. There was a sense of we were going to build the new Russia. The new technology age was going to help us go back to the greatness we had in the past, and I believed it. I am from a different region. I'm kind of countryside, not Siberia, a little bit lower, little lower there, a bit below the Siberia. And I work hard. I was first I was recruited in my area to work in the military. Then they do tests for like the intelligence level test. They knew I was very intelligent and I like breaking codes, so they brought me for this part. Okay, for like data operations, for also like code breaking, radio code breaking, radar things. So so that is what I believed in. So over time, I was working very hard. I did very well, did a very good job. I did not make very much money. I did not care for it. But over time, it became clear that what I was doing was not creating good things. And I had an much older boss. He was not a good man, and I could see a bit of the corruption. So I got tired of it and I felt so hopeless. I am a kind of person who was very idealistic. And because I was always idealistic, I believe it. I wanted to change things for better. And when I realized that I was just like you call it, a cog in machine, like I was cog in machine, I didn't want it. I didn't want it. So it happened that I had the contact because what happens is sometimes we have contact with people who want information from us. It's very discreet, but we receive message. We have sometimes friends who say maybe you want to have conversation with somebody, maybe you want to share information about what you know, and uh, and so we all knew where to go if we were going to find to give information to. Okay, so but I want to understand. I feel like okay, guys. So he's gonna. I feel like it's kind of building up. I kind of can see where it's going. You know, he shares his information. I have his envelope with the information, and the information they find it was him, and that's how he gets killed. But first, I'd like to know exactly what he did because I'm not exactly understanding. I mean, I kind of have an idea, but I'd like to understand what he did and who he gave information to from where. Okay, like I mean, he obviously may not even know the person's name, but that's not. It's not that I want to identify somebody on the American end. It's more like I want to know what area of American military intelligence or whatever it was that benefited from the information he gave and why he gave the information. Okay, so I think he's getting to why he gave the information. So this is it. Okay, Robin, Rod. I don't know. I'm kind of getting somewhat kind of. Oh, I don't I can't quite say the name, but his name I don't understand it exactly. But he's going to tell me more information. Okay, so what happened here, and why is this information? Do you think his information is relevant to us? Okay, so why is he reaching out today? So I thought information is important because I wanted to avoid war. I was tired. I knew what was going to happen. We were about to go to, it was about the planning, the invasion. It was around the time of Ukraine. Okay, Ukraine. So, okay, so I see these ships. Okay, so he's telling me these images of these ships, the routes, the ship routes, or something, or the plans, or something about. What about okay? So what about the radar? Like I feel like you were talking about radars, and I'm getting the ships. So This was about the capability of our radar to go to understand what is coming in other direction. In other words, it was about how far does the radar go to how much information capture for what's around us. And I wanted to tell this information because I didn't want to hurt other people. I knew that the war was not for anything real. It was about oil. It was about money for those people, and I think it's wrong. I don't want to go to war like this. So I give this information. I thought maybe I was so disillusioned with everything that was happening to me, and I thought it was terrible. Okay, so contact embassy. Contact embassy. Somebody know. Contact us. So I'm getting the sense that there was some sort of intermediary that he talked to, and that he gave. I see this like manila envelope that's kind of thick, like a little bit like fat or something, that he gives this. I mean, obviously, there was some sort of exchange. Did you get paid? Yes, he got paid. He got invited to travel. I mean, there was something where something about his like, yes, he did something out of the ordinary. He got a little bit of money for it, and that is how people suspected. Okay, okay. So what you? Oh. I feel like I'm seeing this image of somebody because he was not very, very high ranking, but he was somewhat high ranking. And I feel like he saw that somebody who was under him was beaten and thrown to the sea or something. And he felt really badly. So he said, I was the one who did it. Like somehow I mean, I felt, okay, really? He wanted to talk. He felt really, really badly, and he knew that there was the end. I'm also getting the sense that this person here, he had like he was depressed. He's like, yeah, I was very depressed. I was very disillusioned, and I didn't really have, it was more about stopping what was happening that it was about. I knew I would get some money, but that was not really the purpose. The purpose was to have revenge on those people I was working for and the injustice I perceived. Okay, so that is like he was kind of a romantic character in some ways. Okay, Anatoly, just write it down. Anatoly. Okay, Anatoly. Let's see. I don't know. Okay, V. Okay, so this is it, and I told them, and they beat him up, and it's like until he kind of lost. They were beating him. It was very painful until he lost consciousness, and that was that. He said they were showing him the things. Is it what beating him and asking, is this what you show? What did you shoot? And he admitted, okay, and that they shot him after that. Okay, and that was it. And so why do you have this heaviness? I sense it. Of course, I understand, because it's very sad to see what is happening, right? He's saying it's very sad to see what's happening, and he still has this morose feeling, like he wanted to. He feels like he couldn't affect destiny the way he believed. He wished things could have been different, and yet he did something relatively small, and yet it didn't stop anything. It's just like a tiny millimetrical step. Okay, so, but what is the reason why you're so sad? Like it seems as if how do you feel about the fact that you gave away these secrets? How do you feel about it? Do you feel that you did the right thing, or do you feel that you wish you hadn't? I feel like I was, when I was younger, he's something like, oh, I was very, I believe I could change it. He's sort of like saying that he couldn't really change things to the degree that he thought he could if he gave this information, because it's almost like, if it's a little bit like he's explaining to me, it's a bit like, you search something on Google, you have information, but that doesn't mean that the information is going to, in my mind, I thought that if I gave him this, then they would be able to be stopped, and they weren't stopped. And so I was basically a very naive person. So that is what it is. It's like he feel like in some ways he had a lot more to live for, but it was just the circumstances. He's like, I couldn't live with myself doing the stuff that I was doing, because I joined the military or the Russian services for a very different reason than the stuff I was then ended up doing. So I was, I love literature, I love reading, and it just became, it was just I didn't like it. I didn't like I was doing this for the wrong reason, and that I was making our own Russian people suffer, and those for those people who didn't care about us. So that's what that was the motivation. Okay. So okay. Wow. Wow. So it's kind of sad, guys. I don't know what I was expecting. Okay, but it's kind of a little bit sad here. So what do you have anything to tell us? Do you have any advice? Can you see anything or anything about the few anything you want to say about us or to us? Okay? Anything, okay? He's saying, "Oh, I see here it is." He's saying, I'm so glad you're doing something good, Rose. Is a good thing you're doing. I had no idea this existed or whatever, like something like you're doing something good. I'm glad." He didn't know. He's surprised this stuff happened. And then he shows me a picture of he had a young wife, Raisa. I don't know that it is RA something. I'm gonna look it up. Or something like that. Okay. And then there was a young baby, like I think it's a boy, very big, like a little baby. Okay. And he misses them, and he's sad that he wasn't thinking, okay, and he wasn't really thinking very deeply about the consequences of the things he was doing to his family. And that when after all of this happened, he was obviously his name was removed, and it's sort of like he's known as some sort of traitor, and that kind of harmed the family in some ways. Okay. Okay. So this is it. So anything you want to tell us? He's like, it's not. It takes many, many, many people and many, many, many steps to change all of this. Everybody's trying to make it happen in a different way. People do what they can with whatever it is that they have, and we go by what we believe in our hearts and our instinct that this is the right thing. You were lucky because you're going to see change. You're going to finally see a lot of change. And what I'm pleased to see is that, unlike the things I believed, and I think I was probably affected by the like how my mental state. Okay, I didn't think that we could change. It's like he's there. The conflict here is that he felt very small. Okay, and that he didn't think that anything that was the least he could do. But the sadness is to see that from right before he died, he thought that he was doing something sort of heroic, but he wasn't. It created sadness and harm for the family, and that he's crying now and said, "I'm so sorry that I created so much harm for my family. I wish I had known. I wish I had known, but I was already so affected." I think he had some mental issues. Okay, that it was like, I had no idea this all of this could happen. I wish I could tell them. I wish I could tell them, Rosie. And this is it. Oh my God, guys, it's telling me, he's telling me that you should really publish this like a podcast, because who knows, maybe one of my family, they are going to recognize the things I'm telling them, and they should know that I always think of, it's sad, guys, it's like that I always think of them, and that I couldn't measure. I had no idea this could happen. I had no idea that I could be discovered so fast and so easily, and that I was envisioning something so much bigger that would change the world that we both, that with our little family, lived in for the better. And that's why I did it. Okay. So, oh, so that's why. Okay. I have what I think. Do I have Hank? I think I have it. So 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 the wife is like, "Don't cry, Rose, don't cry, you cry for you." But it's sad, guys. It's kind of sad. Oh oh my God. I said, but he's saying, Rose, but this is good what you're doing, because you're giving the human side to this. Okay, we don't talk about it too much because it's either the people, right? Because the either the whole thing is like, I don't know. It's kind of sad here. Oh my God. Okay. So anyway, so this is it. Okay. So this is it, guys. Okay. Who's like, thank you. It's like, so anyway, so this is nice. This is kind of encouraging. I don't know, guys. I don't know what I was thinking, because Boris is such a character. This is kind of a darker, right? I don't know what I was expecting. So, so So this is it, okay? So so oh my God, okay, so I don't know. It's kind of sad, because oh no, it's not going to be funny, Rose. So Rose. Okay, can he? So you know what I'm gonna do, Invisible. I have a sense that he said he's like thank you. He's so thankful. He's bowing down. He's going. He's saying I'm leaving now. But what I feel like maybe this is it. I think, like I said, I don't want to. I didn't initially want to ask questions, but I'm gonna leave it because what I realized is this is like I see guys. This is like 20 minutes long. Okay, this one part with this person. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to then open up for different kinds of people just for varieties, okay? Because I'm like I don't now I can't, I want something else that is more, not higher, like, that what is it called? That is a more of a creates more of a balance, okay? So I'm like when I ask this question, and she's like, can anyone who wants to talk give us information about the upcoming changes in America, okay? Because I don't, and then guys, I was thinking for myself, I was like, should I do this with an audience? Could I do it on my own? I don't know, this stuff because it could be very sad, like it is being said now, but I'm going to try to alternate it now. I'm going to change and ask the question and then change the formats a little bit so that, inviting other people who have maybe a little bit different story. And if there's something that is more specific to us, like what Indivisible is saying, can anybody give information on upcoming changes in America? Do you see any? Okay. And also the other question I have for anybody out there is whether the things you have given have stopped. So has the information you given um being able to stop anything? And what, and has any of the information that was shared, I mean, you may have shared, sent to American intelligence services in a way that is compromising of Trump? Like, has anybody who may have been killed, okay, given information about Trump or Trump's administration to American intelligence services, that it was, in other words, like stuff that whatever it is that they gave reached American intelligence services and they know that it's being used, or that, right? So that's also an interesting question, because I feel like, right, I don't want to just, no offense, but it's very sad, okay, it's kind of heavy sometimes, you know what I mean, but let's counterbalance with politics, right? So let's see here, okay. Okay, so here. No, 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 no. I see these guys dance. They have a dance. The Russian dance is very complicated. They're like dum 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 dum, like with the legs jumping up. Okay, so here we have questions. To have it. So okay, so tell me. So next person who wants to tell us about, like I said, has any of you given compromising information about Trump administration? Anybody who hoped so the Trump administration? Who helped the no, no, some anybody who helped the Trump administration, and if you've given information, what is it and has it been impactful? Okay, so tell me what it is. So who are you? Hmm. Tell me next person. Okay, so tell me. Oh my God, there's Boris again. I don't know if it's Boris. I'm just Boris and Rose. I have given information. I have. Boris is saying that okay, Rosen, you don't have to speak. Let me talk. Let me talk. Let me talk. There was conversations. You're supposed to be my podcast. You're just guest. You're just guest, okay? So I gave him information. I was like, give it. I know it was like what I know. Boris, you died a while back before he was. Yeah, no, but that's not the point. The point is after I was very anti-Putin. I was anti-Putin, so I give informations about Putin and all those people who received the Russian money. You know that there was people like Peter Strzok and other Bruce or other people you familiar with who they were researching Russian. So it got to, I don't, but I feel like it's more like the CIA. It was like there's the CIA, there's the FBI, there's different ones, because the FBI is inside the country, but there's like the CIA. There's different ways that he shared information with the intelligence agencies of other countries about these payments or the people. What did you give information on, and what was this information about? Okay, This is what I want to know because guys, you probably already know this, that Boris in many ways was not necessarily a hero, okay? Because this is like, yeah, it's true. He was an oligarch for a long time. He did a lot of corruption, and then eventually he got tired of it. But it's not, he's not an angel. He's like, no, I know it's true, it's true. But he wants to, like, but he feels guilty in some ways, and he wants to do good or whatever. So okay, so he did give information about what? About the banks. Oh, that's right, guys. He was a banker. Do you remember this? He's like, I was known as a banker. I was the most famous banker of the 90s. 90s, I was very famous. So, so he gives some sort of information about that goes way back again of how the money was coming out of Russia and going to the West. But he wanted to. What was it? What was the focus, Boris? The Boris is here is Vienna. Vienna. Why am I writing down Vienna? Okay, so sorry. Vienna Castle. Okay. 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 So Vienna Castle. Okay. So we would start to buy property. We started buying property because that was a way that we could get the money out of Russia. That's right. Buying property, expensive art, because those are, because for example, Rose, he's saying, for example, if you wanna, you can't just transfer money right from a Russian account to another one until unless you explain where the money comes from. So because and this is, guys, true, because I worked in the bank. If there is suspicious transactions above a value of 10,000, they have to flag it. Okay, so if you buy expensive things, the thing itself becomes the currency, so you don't have to explain it, right? So it's like, for example, you could buy painting. That's why he's saying, Rose, a lot about art market. There's a lot of Russians. It's not because the Russians like art too much. It's because they need to get the money out somehow, and that is how you get the money out. You put it in the art, and then you sell to the friends, you sell to people. Interesting, right? So this is okay. So he's saying, yeah, we're buying. This is a, tell me, just say, look up castle 90s. Okay, we'll see here. I'm just, I don't know, guys. I almost like a Mike Borders too much. Okay, so castle. Oh my God. Yes. Oh, okay. Here. Oh my God. Interesting. German. Oh no, it's German. German castle expropriated from Russian owner. Okay. So I don't know, guys. It's not. Oh, interesting. Yeah. So interesting. Oh, look. Yeah, that's like, oh, the Austrian. This is from 2007. So there's an Austrian town that they put limits into. Oh, here, Abramovich. They bought these. Okay, there's hotels and they look like castles or whatever in Austria. So anyway, so long story. I don't know that it's So so anyway, so guys, okay, so this is it. So anyway, so he's saying that we wanted to get the money out and we used it to Oh, yeah, explain to them because it's saying that okay, so the money's left Russian bank accounts, but the question they had for us is where that money came from. And I explained to them where the money came from. Okay, and so as you know, in the 90s, I was involved in all these battles with other oligarchs for certain assets, state assets that we could control. But what we did is we moved it out of the country and into all these accounts. Okay, so this is part of it. So but again, tell us about we seem to know a lot about the banking issue. So tell us about Trump. Tell us about, all of the even Vexelberg and all those things. Tell me how does it work really? And what is the relation? How do you guys feel about Trump? Like in terms of is he an employee? Is he an idiot? How do you see him? For you guys, you give him a lot of money, but you know he's an asshole. So how do you ask for favors? How does this whole thing work? And I'm interested in information about Deripask, right? Deripask seems to be the guy who owned like Manafort, and so who I want to know. I want to know information. I want to know it. Okay, so Rose, don't make faces for me. I don't know. I don't need faces. Don't make faces for me, Rose. Don't make faces. I want to see your face normal. Okay. Okay, so this is complicated story because the thing with Manafort is because he was working for Oleg. He worked for Oleg in the Ukraine, and then the thing with Trump was later. But because we have network of people we own, it's like employees for us. They work for like, expensive employees, like politicians. Politicians, different countries. We ask for a favor. It's a bit like having for example, like employees. Sometimes you ask them to do things for you. Some people get more money. They don't do their job is not to make coffee. Their job is to do something when you want it. Sometimes you ask for a big favor. Yeah, and they expect to do it. So that's it. So okay. So why? Okay, tell us about Trump and the stuff and the money. So about the time when Russia was opening up, we understood that we needed to put the buying things is not because we're just sometimes we like big things. It's because we needed to transport a lot of money out of country, a lot of money. So real estate is easier way. And the reason why we put money in America is because America has a good banking system. So it's the best place for put money. So we buy it. And the reason we buy condos is, of course, as you happen to know, is that the in New York City, for example, condo, you do not need information about your finances. They don't ask for your background. They don't have to approve from board. It is not like a co-op like okay, it's different. So the fact is that the condos, we could buy condos because that way we could just buy cash, nobody asking for emissions, nobody knows who you are, nobody has to vote for us, yes or no. We just go in and we have it, do it, trade it, we don't care. So that's right. There was less scrutiny. It's true in New York. Buying condos, they don't ask where your money comes from. They don't judge. They don't. It's like here's the money I buy and buy. So okay, which is different from most of the of that. So this is why we bought it because it was a way to move it out. And Trump was one of the ones that was building because one of the challenges that is that we needed to buy something that was expensive, that was new, that had a lot. Okay, but why him? Why him? Well, he came to Russia before, and how? Okay, so tell me exactly how the money laundering worked in the Trump property. I understand that the Russians bought and sold, but from what I understood last time you told me, it was sort of like um, it was a little bit like you put the money in one way and you remove it another. So it's like as if there was a secondary book. How was it and where is it? Okay, so. Also, it was like, guys, it's kind of explaining here to me that it's sort of like it was very easy to change LLCs. Like we didn't have to do. It was sort of like we didn't have to do. It was like we all knew each other. That's why he's saying. That's why you go to Trump Tower. You know everybody from your home. Oh, there he is. There he is having tea. Let's talk later. Like of course he's saying we all knew each other. It makes perfect sense. Why? Because it wasn't as if okay, it's saying like it's saying no, it was not that we had to it wasn't as if like what I understand here, it wasn't as if we had to look for a buyer or something like that. It was that we knew each other, and when somebody needed a big chunk of cash, they transferred the apartment to me, for example, and I would give them cash. You know what I'm saying? So it's much easier. That was a way that you could defreeze. Like it's almost like think of it as a deposit. Okay, like let's say like a savings. If one of us needed a chunk of money, we would sell it to the other. I would buy it from them, and that way I would transfer the money. In a way that looks very legit. But in reality, a lot of times these apartments that didn't even go into market. It was like, hey, I need this cash, sell this, and I'll put it in your bank account. Because that was much easier than trying to find a way to like, because he's saying there are so many different he's I'm seeing, guys, as a long time ago I saw this analogy between ships and money laundering. So he's saying like there was all these little ships being sent to the US so that it was like into weird different accounts. That was much more complicated to transfer, because when you already have the stuff in the real estate, it's so easy, right? It's much easier. Here it is. It's already there. So you could transfer bigger amounts of money without creating a red flag. So, so this is why it's kind of it's saying, it's telling, he's giving me this image of familiar with marketing funnel, right? So first there's a lot, and there's like, so it's the end of the funnel. It's like it ends when you sell the real estate. Okay. So this is it. Okay. So this is why. It's because it's saying, Rose, you don't understand. It's a bit like being a Russian bank. It's like a Russian bank, they call it. It's like a Russian bank because, like I said, it's a place where you could find liquidity. Where if you need the money, you buy it to park the money, you sell it to to sell the money. And the person who was buying it, it wasn't buying because they wanted an apartment or not. It was buying it because it was understood that the bank had to transfer the deposit to somebody else. You know what I mean? Bank meaning their deals or whatever you call it. You know what I mean? So it's something like, oh, when a person, oh, hey, guys, and he's telling me, I know you read the article about the other day about how I sold my Trump Tower apartment. He did, and he said he was kind of telling me he was forced to sell it because people were suspicious of him. Okay, because he was about to rat them out, or he got into a fight with Putin or whatever. So this is it. Okay, so okay, but what did Trump know? Like how much? What did Trump do, and what did he know about what you guys were doing? And did you have a separate book? In terms of the term tower, what was the deal here? So we had a connect. Oh, guys, he's saying that there was this. Oh my God, there was an accountant inside of. I don't know. Is that guy? I don't know if it's a him, but let me just explain. He said there was an accountant in the Trump the organization that he would do all the paperwork for sales. That's right. The buying and the sale. Oh, that's right. That's right. So he would, it's kind of like, for example, let's say you arrive from Russia and you need the money. The person would say, go call him at Trump organization, because you'll be able to sell you, or like to buy an apartment from you, or to sell you an apartment, because that was kind of like your cash, the cash, like that was considered cash. And so this is how, that's right, he would connect the buyer and the seller, so to speak. But oh, that's right, because it's saying like sometimes if you bought it from Trump, you bought it from him. Okay, so what does it mean to bought it from him? You give him the money. There was like, it's like a different thing, guys. It's almost like it's almost like a bank at the bonds or something. Okay, so this is it. He knew all about this, but as long as the money was coming in for him, he got a cut out of every transaction. He was happy. He didn't care what you do. He didn't ask. That was one of the other things that we liked about him. It's because he didn't ask questions. Okay. So that was the answer. Okay. So Yeah, so anyway, so now, okay, so now I have another question, okay, about this finances. So so it's kind of like I want to know the story about the loans, okay, more. I would like to understand how did this loan situation happen and what are the terms of these loans? How did he get these loans and what were the terms of these loans? Like you said, first of all, I want to know also, I'm talking to Boris here, like I want to know I feel like at the beginning he told me he had signed these loans, but he was a banker in the 90s. So when was the loans that he had signed for? And then when was Vexelberg involved in this and how? Okay. Okay, so when tell us about the how the loan situation, the people say, and I believe it's probably true. Um, so it's kind of like that's not what I'm okay, that's not what I'm talking about, Christine. It's something else. Okay. The second accountant, there's two things. The person who did what you're talking about, Christine, is very different things. One is the accountants of for Trump in Chicago. What I'm talking about is the guy who's like the CFO of Trump organization. Okay. That's a different thing. All right. So this is it. Okay. Okay. So all right. So okay, so how did the loans happen and how he couldn't get loans and he knew those people who were buying apartments, and even during the recession we were buying a lot of apartments in Trump Tower. He knew money was coming in. They had already offered him money before and he was a little bit scared to take that money, but he took the money that time. And what they said was, you can keep building, but we can pump this money in, and we're gonna. It's like kind of giving me this image of like over pumping money, okay, and he would take a lot of the cuts. So it was kind of like we would lend him this money so he could do whatever. But part of it was that it was kind of like it's he's telling me here tainted books. Like he would the money was not legit. Like it was not like it's not like a normal business where we would, let's say you go to the bank gives you money, do whatever you want with the money. No, this was different because it was about injecting the money into the company. But once the money was in the company, we could take of it some of it out for ourselves. So it was like we kind of had to change the balance sheet to make it look like it was legit. But in fact, so for example, or he's telling me, what Trump is doing now, for example, right? So he has this like his company's hotels or whatever. So what he does is that he pays someone through like for example, we pay a person through the Trump company. So for example, so then it's kind of like, oh, guys, it's explained to me. It's giving me. Do you remember that it's telling me about Ivanka? And you remember how Ivanka, when she was doing the inauguration, the woman who had worked at Vogue, she had booked this like some sort of conference space that was really overpriced. And the point, obviously, to Ivanka was to do what she had done before, which was that was a way to get paid, to charge for these services, was how you got. So the oligarchs or whoever gave them the money, let's say they give Trump 100 million, right? Then Trump would then out of that 100 million, let's say 35 million would go to one of the Russians. So how would the Russians get this money from Trump that they was meant to go to the bank accounts? They would create these companies, legit companies in the U.S. that would then bill Trump for something, and that is how the money would be transferred. So that is how Ivanka was operating, how she thought of those what you call it, the parties or whatever. It was a way for to get the money in. It was to create these overpayment and everything like that. Yeah, exactly, exactly. So to overcharge for things, to create false services, false service invoices and stuff like that. So that is how we were paid. Okay, but now, okay, I understand. But so he's saying, but if you look at the books are fake. You can't. I mean, the numbers add up, but the reasons why we're paid for things, it's telling me a little bit like, okay, for example, Rosie, let's say you it's like, he's saying he's for you, it would be almost impossible. It's like impossible that you could be laundering money because every expense you have is accounted for, is legit, is a real company, or like Amazon, or whatever, or like the place, the co-working space bill, or eating something, it's not random. But what we did was to create fake invoices for something that wasn't legit, you know, didn't exist. So it was like some sort of service, or like some sort of construction it was something like you overestimate the bills. You put like high percentages on top, okay, to charge it so much more than the value of the actual thing, and you take the cut. So he's saying, for example, in the example of Ivanka, let's say she charged like $100,000 for a day of the conference. The market price would be $8,000 a day. She charged 100,000. So what happens to the 92,000 extra? You went to her pocket. Or there was this extra book in the guys. This is it's telling me every single Trump business is like this. They have they overcharge for things, and then within the balance sheet, some of it goes to them, but it's not. It's much more than skimming off. It's taking a lot than just a lot more, a lot more. It's not just 10%, it's like 30, 40, 50%. It's a lot. Okay. So, okay, I get it now. But how now tell me about the ownership structure of these of like the loan. First of all, let's go back to the loans again. I want to know how is the loan structured? Okay. In other words, they co-signed for the loan. How? And how was and now because Indivisible had asked about Deutsche Bank. Is that where Deutsche Bank goes in? Because he owes money supposedly to the Deutsche Bank. To remember 300 million? Right before the inauguration, he still owes 300 million to Deutsche Bank, Trump. So is this money that he owes to the Russians? Who is this money owed? Is this Russia? Because my sense, guys, and let me just confirm before I close my eyes, is this how the loan happened? Is that the Russians transferred money, like it was basically a money transfer, like 300 million from Russia to New York. But how it happened, technically, like in terms of like how Deutsche Bank accounted for it, was that it was described as a loan, but it wasn't. It was just a money transfer. Is that correct? Is that correct? And does this mean that when the because I'm getting a sense that in the financial document it shows that the originator for the loan is the Russians. Does it show it or not? Or is this something? Okay, so tell us more about how why why do I get that they own Trump? Why? Is it because he owes them a lot of money? Or does he owe them a lot of money? Does he owe Deutsche Bank the money? Who does he owe money to, really? What is the true story here? Okay. So he's saying, okay, so calm down, Rose, calm down. Let me explain it. So we have the money in the Russian account. We transfer it to another. Okay, there's a Deutsche Bank office in Moscow or St. Petersburg, whatever. We transfer it there, and then it gets moved. Okay, so it's like a pool. Yeah, they like this. We move the money. Like let's say there's a Russian. I don't know the name of the Russian bank, but it transfers. It gets transferred, which is very legal, transferring from one to the other of another account in like the Deutsche Bank. So the transformation of this cash into a loan, that is the shady part. And how does this happen in accounting terms? Because it's off. Okay, how does it work? Expatriating the transferring fees and money. Yeah. So it's kind of like expatriated to say from the Russian thing into the main bank or whatever you call it, the headquarters or something like that. And that is when then the loan is originated to Trump. But it's not originated to Trump until it's like okay, they have the cash in the account and it's reached the main place. So it's basically a money transfer. Okay, so the what is like how okay, let me backtrack here. So when the Russians agreed to give him money, is this they say it's going to go through the Deutsche Bank, or how do they explain it to him? And how does Trump know that he owes them the money and not Trump? Because what I'm seeing, guys, is that the document says Deutsche Bank, but the truth is that it's not the Deutsche Bank he owes, but right? So how does it work? Um, Interesting. So it's telling me this is kind of interesting, guys. Oh, okay. Okay, this is interesting. So Hey, this makes sense. So, okay. I actually know, okay, okay, this is makes sense. I kind of know the answer to this question he asked individual. Let me just explain to you how, okay, this, okay. So he takes the money, the loan from Deutsche Bank, and the Russians pay the loan for him. That is how it happens. Okay. So in some ways the money is already paid for, and that is kind of like the debt is accounted for already. So he never pays back the bank because the Russians pay for it on their end. Okay. So this is it. So the idea actually never he never pays Deutsche Bank because that's me explains it, guys. So the way it works is that he takes the loan and the Russians pay off the loan for him. It makes sense. It's kind of easier. So this is it. Okay. Now okay. So this is it. Okay. Now the question, as far as the question for how do transfers occur without suspicion. So let's tell you a little bit about money laundering red flags. Okay. Um, so if you work there, so the lower level of banks, there's somebody called a compliance officer. That is the person who looks at all the transactions and flags the transactions if they are above a $10,000 and there's names of people in governments, all kinds of names. It's not, you don't even have to be a legitimate person or criminal. It's just that somebody's in the government. It's flagged. Okay. So the person, let's say this person has like makes like, I don't know, doesn't make very much money at all. They're just the first person at the lowest of the totem pole. They flag it, and it's like goes up for other people to make the decision. So it's not for the little person, but it's the people above who then flag it or stop it or don't stop it. So it becomes something that, because guys, there's so many transactions, fraud is one of the hardest things to control. Okay. So this is it. Okay. No, but it's a little bit complicated. It's not so easy to do the day to day, like going to the account or whatever. If you do it on a bigger level, like you have a fake company, you have something like that, it's more, you know it's like it's farther. So that's why it's almost easier if it's a lot of money, because like I said, guys, the amount is 10,000. Before, anything below 10,000 is not flagged. Okay. So unless you do like thousands of transfers below 10,000, which in itself is going to, people are going to be like, well, it's kind of weird, right? That's how it is now. So it's not fake names, guys, because the people, do you remember the story that came out about Deutsche Bank? That people, there were whistleblowers, and they had flagged because it said Jared Kushner and such. Their names were there. It was not a secret. Okay. It was not like it's a little bit difficult to have a fake name with it has to have a social security number, stuff like that. Okay. Yeah. So this is it. Guys, though it's complicated. The thing about LLCs, there's something called the shell company. I'll give you an example. Okay, this is an example I was telling you about my friend. So my friend, she had a business, or has a business with this guy. Okay, so the guy is shady, and the guy illegally cuts her out of the bank, like access to the bank account. So she goes to the bank account people, and they give her this paper, and the paper says that has the same name as the LLC of the school that she owned, and then her name is not on it. So as it turned out, we did some research, and what it looked like is that that's a shell company. Because if you own an LLC and you have an LLC for a legitimate company, you can create other LLCs on top of a legitimate company that are called shell companies, that don't need to have addresses, they don't need to have people on top of it. So it's a little bit complicated, because you do need one legitimate it's almost like you need one legitimate, it's almost like you need one legitimate company on top of which you could build all kinds of different structures of LLCs, and those are the ones that are harder to find. Okay, but they're not impossible to untangle. They're just kind of layered. You know what I mean? So it's a little complicated. I didn't know that. But even this guy who owns a school, who's like a small, very small thing, you know why? So I'll tell you why it exists, guys. Why did this guy who was the business partner of my friend have this? Because he needed to get loans for himself. Long story. So that's why. Okay, so that's why, because then if you have a shell company, the purpose of shell companies is to conduct financial transfers. Okay, it's complicated, it's very complicated, but it's also not that complicated. Okay, so it's just complex. So this is it, and that's how this whole thing happened. Okay, so this is it, guys. Okay, okay, so now how, okay, so when people say that Trump yeah, DB, exactly. So when people say that Trump has like it's owned by the Russians, what does it mean? It means that they owed them a lot of money, like millions. And it was, oh, they're telling me this is true, guys. If you look into, if you do some research on how the real estate business works, the real estate business works in the following way. So somebody is a developer of buildings, right? So you don't put your own money into it. You find a bank who puts the money to get it built, and once the units are sold, then you pay back the bankers. That is how it works. It's not like usually those people don't use their own money to buy anything. They use other people's money to buy it, and that is how the deal is done. So that's what it is that they put in the money to finance these buildings. Because people are saying, oh, Trump bought a, it's not, it's a little bit, it's never, it's basically if you look at, and this is not just Trump, it's a lot of, I think most of the business deal, the transactions of real estate are happen like that. It's all about loans. So you get the deal, you get the architect, you price it, and then you get somebody to put the money in, and the banks make money after by lending you this and getting the interest or whatever it is, the extra on top of it. You know what I mean? So exactly, Genesis, exactly. Developers all do that. That's it. So that's how the real estate business works. And that is why it's not, when you say somebody like he has a real estate company, it's misleading, because anybody like you and I could have a real estate company. Oh, I'm a developer. What does it mean? It means nothing. It means you have an idea, you're going to build a building, you get an architect, you get it, you get the blueprint, but the money doesn't come from the company who owns the buildings. Most of the time, the money comes from a bank or somebody, you know what I mean? So this is it. Okay, so that's a story here. And that is why the story when Trump went, the story of like how Trump didn't pay back the loans he got, is that all the banks would pump the money to his business development projects, and either it didn't sell or something happened. He couldn't pay them back or didn't want to pay them back and didn't. And that is why nobody ever lent him money again. Because it's like, guys, it's hundreds of millions. It's not like $5 or $10,000. It's like 300 million, 100 million. Who knows? A lot of money. Okay, so this is why. This is how it happens. Interesting, though. It's very interesting. It's very complicated, but this is why. It's because the bankers for Trump were Russians. That's it. It makes perfect sense, right? So because that's why, guys. Because as I was telling you, now it makes sense. Because even if he has his, that says, oh, it's Trump developed, Trump incorporated, whatever that is, the money. If you look at every real estate deal, the money of the people who, how do you say it? The person who finances the building before it's sold is not Trump, it's other people. And who are these other people? Russians. Because you need almost $1 billion to build some huge building like that. Right? It's like, I don't even know. Actually, I have no idea, guys, how much it costs, but I know it's a lot of money that you need. So it's not as if you can just like, oh, I'm gonna save, I'm putting some money aside so I can build something. No, at this stage is like, it's insane the amount of money. Okay. So you know what I'm saying? So that's it. So that makes perfect sense why. So tell me about this Victor Vexelberg person. What's the deal here? Oh my God, they're seeing you. Look up Renova. Renova. Say Renova. Renova Real Estate. Renova Real Estate. What's his name? Vexelberg. Okay. Oh my God. Oh my God, you guys. Oh my God. Oh my God. What? Mm. Oh my God. Okay, let me understand. Oh. Oh, sorry, one second here. So, guys, there is this place called Fort Ross, California, and it's a former Russian outlet. So it's owned by, like, oh my God, look at this. Let me just, it's so strange. So it's like this place that is owned by the same company that of Victor Vexelberg. So to provide funding for Fort Ross. Oh, that's it. It is parent company of private equity firm Columbus Nova. Oh my God. Makes sense. That's it. I get it now. I understand informations. Guys, it's so complicated. It is so complicated. It is so okay, so this is it, guys. Okay, so now let's go back. I asked about Victor Vexelberg, and Boris, I'm assuming, said look up Renova Group. So look up Renova Group, which is this company, right? So first of all, they're financing this like Russian settlement in Sonoma County, California, called Fort Ross. Okay, you can look it up. That's the one thing. It's just it's like this location. Okay. And then the next one, this is what is the big deal. So this company is like the big conglomerate company called Renova Group owned by Vexelberg, right? So they have one of the companies they own, it's called Columbus Nova, which is a private equity company. Private equity is essentially they provide, they buy companies. That's in itself a financial company to an extent. So what does this company do? It provides loans for real estate. Interesting, no? Oh, interesting. Oh, here. So if for this guy Andrew Intrater, and guys, you can look him up. This guy is listed in a lot of things related to Trump. So he's the cousin of Victor Vexelberg. Okay. So this is it. And so guys, it's like, whoa. Oh my God. Oh, look, yeah. Oh, that's it. In 2017, Mother Jones reported that Andrew Intrater donated $250,000 to Trump's inauguration fund and $35,000 to a joint fundraising committee for Trump's reelection and the Republican National Committee. And then let me just give you this link so you can click on it as I'm reading it, okay? So, okay. So, oh my God, okay. So the payments to Michael Cohen, okay? So, wow, oh my God. That, actually it's not super long, but so so this is it, guys, okay? Oh my God, it's crazy. So then oh my God, oh my God, look, there's an Israeli company. This is what I was telling you, the Russian Israeli thing. So there's an Israeli company called oh my God. I'm just trying to understand it here, okay? Oh my. So then it connects to Len Blavatnik, another one. Oh, that's it. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's it, guys. It says, yeah, Vexelberg is a former business partner of Len Blavatnik, who has testified in Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's criminal investigations. Oh, that's it. Remember I told you guys the connection between the Israeli election and Trump. This could be it. So you see what I'm saying? So it's very complicated here. They're like, yeah, Rose is much bigger. That's right. So okay, so So you see what I'm saying? So it makes sense. So oh my God, that's it. Oh my God, look at this, guys. I just found it from May of 2018, New York Times. At Trump Tower, Michael Cohen, an oligarch, discussed Russian relations and interest in distressed taxi loans. Remember? That was it, guys. The loan situation is is how, okay. So it's, oh my God, it's like, guys, it's too big, okay. Oh my God, what? That's it, okay. So it says here, this is from this year, okay. So oh, that's it. That's it. March 4th, 2019. Numerous Trump Organization employees are asked about whether Russian state owned or private entities financed the Trump Organization or members of the Trump family itself. And it says, and so here's one of the things they're asking is private executive, cousin of Russian oligarch Vexelberg, Andrew Intrater. That's it. So you see what I'm saying, guys? So it is connected, okay? So guys, today was very strange. Okay, I was not expecting this. I don't know what I was expecting, but it's like no, it was coming together. It's good. They're like, no, it's good. It's good. Mm. Wow. Yeah. So this is it. Okay. Oh my God, guys, isn't it crazy? So they're saying no, no, we have been pumping a lot of money into American businesses because they're saying, yeah, we want to. They're, remember how the first conversation went how with Boris, he was talking about how getting money out of Russia back in the 70s, 80s, or 90s, or whatever, it was a means to achieve diplomatic goals, and that is exactly what they're doing. Even though those people do have their businesses, the businesses are sort of like very connected to the Russian government. They're not totally separate. So, because a lot of those people had their money comes from Russian companies or Russian assets or whatever you call it, okay? So they owned a lot of American companies so they can start having, because they were like, we want to be like the Kochs. The Kochs own a lot of businesses. They could dictate a lot of things. Why can't we do that? It makes sense from their perspective, right? So so oh my God. So this is it, guys, you know what I'm saying? So oh my God, guys. Vexelberg is the largest shareholder of the Bank of Cyprus. And what's his name here? Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross was the vice chairman of the bank. Oh, interesting, no? Interesting. Oh, so interesting. Yeah. So this is it, guys. You know what? It's now I'm like, oh, let me just give you this. I urge you to click on these links. This is from Spire. What's her name? I think it's that woman Spire. What's her first name? So anyway, so it has there's a no glossary of people. So you read about the part about there. Just search on this document Vexelberg, and there's like a lot of connections. So guys, it's like, to me it's obvious. That's what it is. It's a very obvious. Okay. So okay, now so here just little Moscow Mitch and the Kentucky Steel deal related to this or not. So what does Mitch McConnell get out of this deal? Oh no, no, Wilbur Ross, guys, is one of the worst. This was known about him, but Christine, click on that. You see, look him up. It's amazing. It's amazing because it has all the. It's 25 pages of people. It's summaries, okay, but it's a lot of interesting informations. Interesting informations. It's like, guys, and there's no mystery. You realize in no mystery. It's this is what is shocking. It's not mysterious. It's pretty clear. It's money, money, bye bye. Money, money, like, goes money here, but it's all about money. There's not anything. Okay, so let me just ask here. So what about the steel, the Kentucky? What does Mitch McConnell get out of it other than right? I think you know what it is in Indivisible. I remember. I'm gonna tell you what I saw last time. I remember pretty clearly that the stuff about Kentucky was that Oleg Deripaska wanted to open businesses in the US so that he could transfer money into the US more and more, get his claws further in. And he needs to have the approval of government officials if he's going to do that. Obviously those red states are easier to get so I want to know, okay, so what's up with, is this connected to Moscow Mitch? And what does Moscow Mitch get out of Kentucky, does the aluminum, right? Is that what it is? Aluminum? I don't know. It's steel. I don't know. I'm confused. Doesn't matter. But we know that is the he gets to guys. It's kind of telling me a little bit more. Oh, what's so interesting is I'm getting this information that like actually this is something that that Mitch McConnell has to accept. He has to agree to it because it's part of it's how you pay him, Oleg Deripaska back for all he's done for the elections. Because I told you guys before, I feel like a lot of it was like, oh, the Republicans they love us, they're so great, and then it's until they start asking for things, and what they want, guys, is to have these Russian businesses in American soil that they could use for all kinds of nefarious purposes, other than just the actual. There is part of it, there is an actual business, but the point of it is not the business. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? It's to get like have a legit. It's guys. It's telling me it's a little money laundering, because then if you have a legitimate business, then you could transfer the money for legitimate purposes, and then what I'm saying. So you could get money, you pump the money into the U.S. So no one's going. No, it's not true. It's not true because it's a legitimate, right? It's a legitimate business. So that's what I was telling you. Then they can all create shell companies, like I was explaining to you guys. You know what I mean? So okay, so I don't know. So tell me about. We talked about yesterday how Moscow Mitch falls. How does he fall? He accepted foreign money for elections. That's it. He knows. He accepted a lot more than for the money. Accepted the help. So what does law enforcement have on Mitch McConnell in general? It's not just this, guys. I'm sure there's more. What do they have on Mitch McConnell? They have turtle soup on him. Oh, have turtle soup. Turtle soup for him. No, okay, no, seriously. So what do they have on him? First of all, we have these guys. I've seen this before. I feel like I can hear this conversations. He agreed. There's like I could be wrong, but I feel like I hear him agreeing to certain things. Like he allowed the Russians turtle, turtle, turtle. So he allowed the Russians to get okay. So what is it? What do they have on him? Finances. First, it starts with finances that can't be explained. That's one. His income is a lot bigger. Like his assets are huge compared to how much money he makes. Same thing with his wife. I understand she comes from money, but it still cannot be explained. So that starts with the finances. Like where does this money come from? Secondly, they have recordings of conversations. They have conversations of different kinds of him saying, okay, kind of coded a little bit, but kind of like letting him know that thank you so much that I feel, guys, I have a distinct impression that I mean this is pretty obvious from how he acted, okay, but that he knew all about how the Russians were going to help out with the elections. He knew about it from a long time. This was before the actual elections happened. They were like, yeah, the Russians helping. They help us. They help us. So he knew it. And that's why he blocked so many. Guys, think about how important it is, how important Mitch McConnell was for this stuff to succeed. If there had been, imagine, look at England, right? What they did when Boris Johnson said, oh, no, we're going to leave. No, but he didn't do that. Like he was like, oh, go ahead. You want to destroy, you want to cheat on our behalf. Go ahead. You know, feel at home or whatever. So he never, right? Oh my God, yes. So this is it, guys. But this is, you know why it's telling me the reason why is that because It's how they get the Republicans. They have they know exactly the areas where they have to put it. And it's the compromised Republicans, and that's also because that would make the Republicans popular. And you know what I mean? It's kind of a circle, like a vicious circle. Okay, so that's it. You kind of help the guy out. He helps you with the elections, and then the problem is those people have no limits. Okay, no limits. It's like they just go in and in and in. Okay, so they go in. Oh, here's a factory. I give you some jobs. What are you gonna do? It's kind of like they find these things they could do, but the goals, like I was saying, is nefarious purposes. The goals, okay, it's really to gain influence in the country and to start to change the direction of the country, to let them launder the money, guys. Because this is telling me, it's pretty obvious by now that we've been talking about this, that the reason they need legitimate businesses to open in the legitimate business in the US so they can pump money in, because they need, their main goal is to launder money. So if you have a legitimate, you can launder money much more easily. So, and also the Republicans can't say no to this. Like, oh, they have to say, okay, I don't think it's a good idea, Oleg. What are you talking about? I have all the dirt on you. I have rack recordings of you saying that I could interfere in your elections. What are you going to do? You're going to say yes to everything because you're not going to interfere with me, are you? And also, if you don't say anything, I'll give you money. So, you know what I mean? Think about it. It's like, that's it. It makes perfect sense. So the thing with the Russians, like I was saying, first it was slow until they were like, oh, they let him in. And once you let him in, they kind of like, okay, so this is it. So anyway, so they have the, going back to Mitch McConnell, he can't explain where the money comes from. There's recordings. There's like, he knows that these people are Russian. There, he can't deny that he didn't, because he's the head of the Republicans. You know what I'm saying? So this is it. Oh my god. Oh my god. You know, sales. So, oh my god, guys, isn't that crazy? It's crazy. It really is crazy. And now, as I'm talking to you guys, I'm asking myself the question, why did Victor Vexelberg pay off Stormy Daniels like I saw yesterday? I understand that he did, but why? I kind of can feel like why, because, you know, why did he pay off Stormy Daniels? Like yesterday, guys, you remember there was like the breakthrough moment. Why did he pay off Stormy Daniels? This is public knowledge, by the way. It's not from Vision, it's from Truth. Why did he pay off Stormy Daniels? Like, it's kind of strange, right? Why did he pay off Stormy Daniels? Because he paid off Trump's bills, because that would be great compromise material, right? That's it. It's true. It's true, right? He could, like, imagine, like, oh, like, you did something with this woman and you pay for it. Like, what could be more? They're saying, like, one of the things they try to do is find people in trouble. They can, quote unquote, help them out. Okay, so this is, oh my god. Okay, so guys, oh my god, I know the next question. I know the next question. I know what the next question is. Okay, and let's ask it. So the next question is, how are we going to be able to get rid of these people and to close these places, close these factories or whatever? What's gonna you know what I'm saying? We have to be able to do that, because it's not gonna. How is this gonna happen? Guys, you remember the thing, they have to just remove these these people from the country. It's, Eva, she's from London. Okay, she was telling me about the guy, the Abramovich. He had a soccer team in England, one of the most famous soccer teams, Chelsea. Okay, so he owned a sports team there. So she said that the UK kicked him out. He no longer has a visa for the UK, even with all the Boris Johnson bullshit. So it's kind of the same thing. Even if the guy owns a company, they're going to have to sell it to somebody else if you want to recoup the money, or they're just going to take it and the government may just take over these factories and sell it to somebody else. Okay, because they can't. It's a national security issue. Okay, and they're saying they found the loophole. Okay, and it's a huge national security issue. It can't go on. They know, everybody knows. It's just that the Republicans, they don't want to look into it on purpose, and it makes perfect sense, right? Why? Oh, what happened? What happened? Oh, interesting. No? So this is it. Okay, what? Okay, now I have another question. Did Trump? Okay, now going back to Stormy Daniels, I'm just like, didn't Trump know that would be kind of weird if a Russian guy was paying off Stormy Daniels? Okay, okay, so why did he not think that it was gonna be like, what the hell? What was he thinking? He has no money, guys. Oh my guys, this is it. It's like the Russians pay for all his bills. That's what it's saying. He does not pay his own bills. He does not pay his own bills. The Russians pay for his bills. Like what? Okay, so where do like he takes money constantly? Where does his money go? If he doesn't pay bills, what is it? What happens? He has a lot of debt. It's saying he has a lot of debt. Even oh my god, guys, crazy. You know the bills for his business and his lifestyle is very expensive. Oh my god. Okay, so Cynthia, so did Mitch start this with Trump or the Kochs? Yeah, maybe you know what, Cynthia. Let's go back to Mitch McConnell and ask how did Mitch start this thing with the Russians, and who were the conduits, the Kochs? Who were the first people who started this Mitch McConnell, and at which point did Mitch McConnell and Trump converge? Because I feel, guys, as you know, the people that were there was shady like who were like the Russians were first interested in what's his name. Um, Oh my God, the guy from Texas. I forgot his name, thank God. Ted Cruz. Okay. They're all, you know, like Peter Thiel, all these people, they really were into Ted Cruz until they weren't. But I want to know how did like Trump and Mitch McConnell converge? Because it feels like it's two separate things that eventually they were like this and then they came together. But I don't know. Let me find out. Okay. So starting from Mitch McConnell, how did the whole thing with Russia start? How did it start? First, it started with Citizens United, where we could have companies where we wouldn't tell who the owners were. Okay, so this is like first it was like was it 2010? I think it was. I don't remember, guys. Citizens United. Okay, so once that was made, it was easier to hide who money, the contributions, and all those things. That's part one. Okay. So that in that way it starts with the Kochs. And then so why okay, so how did the Russians get so much closer? How do they manage to change things around? The Christian, the Christian thing. They would go to the prayer breakfasts and they would convince the Americans, especially the Russian ones, that the you know the racist ones, I'm sorry, that like, oh, you know, we're white people, we have the same goals, you know, we're Christian. Look at this Muslim people, you know, they kind of use the stuff they knew would work on them to convince them that the Russians were not so bad. They were actually good people. We want the same things. And the same thing that Boris said the other day about the oil. Okay, the oil is the connection too. Because all of us, and they're right. Like we all want the oil business, the oil era to continue. Because I told you guys, you know, think about how much money, or like oil is what Texas, the Bushes, and all the right. I'm not saying that the Bushes would necessarily 100% into the Russians, but it's part of you know, they're saying we have these business school. Let's help each other, okay? And they're saying we hate the Democrats. They're not going to let us do what we want. But if you go to the Republicans and use sociopathy, in other words, like, oh look, be against, you know, look at all these people, you know, the poor people wanting things. You know, we're like you. We want business. We don't want what is it regulations. However they talk. You know what I mean? So that was it. Now, okay, so that's they convinced them, and then they started donating. Okay, so that's it. They would donate, guys, because they learned. They're like, okay, so they started donating money. That's it. They noticed, they learned from the Kochs in the sense that they realized why were the Kochs so powerful? Because they were donating money. And when you donate money, you'll get a lot of people interested. And they're saying the Americans are so cheap. If it was in Russia, we would have asked for a lot more money, you know, and that's it. So they're saying, okay, so then they started donating. And as you know, they're saying, as you know, in America, when you put money down on the table, nobody asks questions. That's it. That's what it's saying. Because of the nature of capital, like money talks. And if you give money, nobody asks. That's true, guys. And that's sad. Nobody asks a question. Nobody cares. Isn't that, oh my God, it's awful, but it's that's what I'm getting here. Okay. Wow. Isn't that crazy? No, guys, oh my God. I'm just like, I was like, oh my, because I got to have, yeah, today I'm like, you know, my energy is kind of, you know, because I have the time of month or whatever. So it's kind of, it's very interesting here. Even it's like, oh my God, money laundering. Yeah, money, guys, the NRA money laundering is obvious. It's part of it. The guys, there's many ways. Like as you were saying, like look at how many. It's not they're smart in the way that they will diversify. They don't just use the NRA. They use all kinds of things. But the NRA and the Christians, whereas the ideology, they first got it, guys. Oh my God. Oh my God. Reminds me of something I haven't asked. Okay, so and I'll just tell. I think I know the answer. We know the answer already. So you know, the Italy, right? Italy, there was a scandal. Okay, scandal of the guy, the guy who's the far right guy who got money, Russian money, right? So one of the ways that the guys, the Italian guy got Russian money was this organization that's anti-gay people called there's I forgot the name, but it's like this Christian organization that is connected to Russians, and that is how they transferred money to this Italian politician. Okay, so I'm just thinking, I'm just look it up, guys. So Italian corruption, Russia, Christian. Okay, let's see what comes up here. What is it? So Italian corruption, Christian organization. Let's see, because I saw something on Twitter. I don't know, guys. It's complicated here. So there was something like Christian organization, anti LBG, Russia, Italy. So it's all connected, guys. It's the. Oh, here it is. Okay, here it is, guys. A major. Okay. Oh, here. A joint Russian American brainchild called World Congress for Families. Okay. Oh, here it is. There's a connection between here. Um, oh, that's it. So WCF has acted as a primary bridge between American Christian fundamentalists and Russian partners. No. Okay, so this is it, guys. It's connected here. It's connecting this organization. It's connecting this organization with like the far right Russia and like the American money and all. So it's all a connect. It's the same people connecting, because that's it. The Russians entered by connecting the ideology. Because guys, this is it. This is the dark side of the capitalism. Is that okay? If you give money, nobody cares. Nobody asks questions. Okay. So, oh my God, isn't that crazy? So guys, okay, I need to go soon, but let me just I'm gonna ask the last question here, and so I'm almost sorry because I feel like it didn't, this started with with the Boris, the guy. We really was kind of weird today, I think. But I want to do it. You know what? I think I realized maybe I'll just incorporate this. Okay. I'll just incorporate this with every reading. It's not necessary. I think it's a little awkward to do it on its own. Okay, because without the context, I think information's come up when, right? So anyway, so let me just finish this. How are we going to get rid of these people, or are we not going to get rid of them? Because that's dangerous. These people is very dangerous. How are we going to get rid of this? How long is it going to take, and how? Freezing the money, getting guys, they're saying getting the money out of here. That's number one, because without money, their organizations won't grow. That's it. Get the money, cut the money. Don't let them put the money in, pump the money in. Yeah, repeal, that goes without saying. Repeal Citizens United, but without, it's like it's saying as long as you stop, if you stop them their money from coming in, it's over. They can't survive without money. And the only reason why people accept the stuff for Russia, they work for Russia and stuff, is because they get paid a lot of money. And so if you don't pay them, they're not interested. That's these people are people you can buy. Okay. Okay. So that's it. It's soon, and they've already like they're doing it. So once Trump leaves, this whole thing is gonna come apart. And guys, is telling me, I don't know. I think that I've one time, one of the most amazing readings it was, and then people like on YouTube are like, oh, you should watch this documentary called The Family. I'm like, I read this book a while back, and I talked about it. But one of the things, guys, that it said that is amazing, is that they use the church they use the church status to transfer money. There's a lot of money. I think there's money laundering happening with the churches, the far right church, the whatever, the but with the evangelical ones that are like you know what I mean? I think there's money laundering going on because they also don't pay taxes. Okay. So it's there's some and what is it important about not paying taxes is lack of scrutiny. I think. Okay, if you don't have to report it, right? I mean, maybe they report it. I don't know. I just feel like they don't pay. They don't have the same, right? So this is there is a connection here to money laundering. So they're gonna have to. I don't know that they're gonna ever remove. This is a controversial issue, but I feel like they have to remove. Either they have to change the laws about the financing of churches, or there has to be made it. Um, Yeah. Oh, look, Christine. Yeah, hide easy to hide donation volume. Yeah. So it's kind of like ice because you know what it's telling me, guys. Again, from the this reading was like probably 2 years ago. It was like a long time ago. I remember this was like, wow, it was like an insight at the time. I remember this. Is that because some of these churches have international branches, some of them have branches in Russia. They transfer the money that way. So it's another thing they do. So this is if you stop the Russian money, okay. Exactly, Manuel. So if you stop the Russian money, you make them die. Okay, like you don't pay anybody the salary. They don't do it. They don't. They're gonna lose interest in Russia if they don't get paid. I mean, really, that's it. It's all about money. So this is a guy's interesting, no? I just okay. So how are we gonna get rid of? For example, what about these people who do business with the Russians? What's gonna happen? They say, Rosie, remember how they got rid of the Italian mob? You have to like penalize people and because guys, it's saying they were not prosecuted. Okay, you have to prosecute these people. Okay, you have to prosecute the people who are taking their money. That's it. It's not complicated. You just make it a crime. You just go because guys, I'm sorry. Let's not even start. Okay, with like the unfairness of the justice system. They have to change they have to prosecute something people, not just like African American. You know what I mean? Like those people have to go to jail. That's the only way the things are going to start to change. Is you're going to take their money. You also are going to put them in jail. Okay, seriously. You know what I mean? So this is it. This is it. So, oh my God, guys, isn't that crazy? So this is it, guys. Oh my God. So this is it. Today was weird, okay? So, but I thought it just explained a lot of info. We're getting a lot of information. I'm sorry. I was like, guys, I kind of feel bad for the Russians. Did they really want to talk to me? And then I started asking. But I'm sorry, but this is the stuff we need to. We need information. We need it, right? Right. I feel like I'm just thinking here, guys. Yeah, sorry, we need it for marathons. We need it. I'm like, okay, okay. So, mm, yeah, Boris and other no, but Boris was talking until the whole time he was talking, but it wasn't the same. It wasn't like I thought it was going to be necessarily like telling us secrets and all these different things. It was more like once the information. I think you know what it is. It was a tool. Maybe I don't mean to then minimize them. No, I want to give them space, but it was the beginning. Okay. So this just gives us a lot of informations. He's gonna come. No, come back, Rose. Come back for informations. So so this is it. Yeah, I feel bad for him too. The first guy was very sad. The story is very sad. But guys, a little bit, okay. Yeah, I think they'll just supply information. Okay, that's what I think, guys. I feel like it's a little bit maybe nervous, to be honest. It may be nervous. So, or the other thing I could try, I'm gonna try something else. I'm gonna try do it on my own. I'm gonna try do it on my own without just audio. Okay, just audio doing it on my own to see what happens. Because I think if if it's just without a video, just audio, to see what happens if they want to come through. And just experiments. They like experiments. So, all right. So, all right. So, okay, guys. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go now. It's 8:20. And so tomorrow we go back. Okay, tomorrow I go back to the normal stuff, which is the questions. So I know that you guys, some of you guys asked questions yesterday, today, so I'm going to incorporate those questions to tomorrow. And like I said, now I do this automatic posting thing, so at 10 a.m. it goes out already. So sometime, today I forgot to add this extra, so I'm going to try to add the stuff before, but anyway, I can incorporate it. And tomorrow's going to be 5:30, not 6:30. Okay, but anyway, so all right, so see you later, alligators. Okay, all right, okay, bye.